Welcome, I'll be reacting to The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. I know that this is in the war genre, so I asked over on Patreon, what is your favorite war film? This was a difficult one, I think, because very few people could narrow it down. I was happy to see Master and Commander had a mention. Dr. Strangelove, 1964, Kelly's Heroes, 1970 were popular. Several votes came in for Where Eagles Dare, including one from Douglas. Gigi Gooding mentioned Catch-22, 1970. There was a vote for War Horse, A Bridge Too Far, War Requiem, Midway, and more. I think it's safe to say that there are so many classics that are well done that this is a really tricky question. I had a bit of a challenge narrowing it down myself. I finally decided on Tora Tora Tora. Since that film has fascinated me from a very young age. I saw it as a kid when my parents were trying to explain what Pearl Harbor was, and I remember being absolutely riveted, especially by the back and forth between the Americans and the Japanese forces. I think it was the first movie I saw that used subtitles for key dramatic moments.
宣戦布告の直後、アメリカの太平洋艦隊並びにその基地を徹底的に叩き、アメリカの戦意を喪失させるにあった。しかし、アメリカの放送によると、真珠湾は日本の最後通帳を受け取る55分前に攻撃されたと言ってる。
And having it almost half and half between the two sides was just really interesting. Although it's not completely accurate, they did a pretty good job of dramatizing it, and they picked up on a lot of subtle little details. There's even a 30-second scene of Dory Miller jumping up and manning the anti-aircraft gun, which is straight out of history. He's amazing, look him up. So feel free to put in the comments, what are some war films you like? Just try and keep it to very simple, spoiler-free, just in case I end up wanting to react to them. As always, this is a commentary. It is not a market substitute. Please support the original, currently on Max. This is a very interesting way to do the credits. Deborah Kerr. Reminds me of the opening to Lawrence of Arabia.
Tin code, sir. Message begins. Exercise invasion of the London area by regular army. Home guard defending.
Yeah.
War starts at midnight. Message ends.
The sergeant's pretty cool. I mean, he was able to decode that almost right away. Respect.
Like the real thing. Sergeant Hawkins, section commanders. So war starts at midnight, does it?
Sir?
We attack at 6. Take all the Tommy guns and 3 trucks.
Plus Steve Porky Sims and Pat Sullivan, sir.
Die, Evans, sir.
Oh, Die Evans, we must have him, look you. All right, get going.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
He's Welsh. Did you hear that, look you?
At the book. I got a date there with Mata Hari.
Careless talk.
Yeah. Now scram.
Mata Hari, Mata Hari. Oh, what a wicked girl was she. That kind of girl I want to be.
Spud! Spud! She got me.
Who?
Mata Hari, come on, quick. Oh.
The music so far in this is fire. Run! They said treat it like the real thing.
Sergeant, sir, that girl under the desk there, she's a prisoner too. Sir, Corporal, let's see. All right, boys, this is it.
What's going on here?
Invasions.
But you damned young idiot, war starts at midnight, haven't you been told?
Oh, yes, sir. That's why we're here. We agreed to keep to the rules of the game, and they go on kicking us in the pants.
That's true.
When I joined the army, the only agreement I entered into was to defend my country by every means at my disposal, not only by the National Sporting Club rules.
You're an extremely impudent young officer. Take that!
Oh, nice. Are we getting a flashback? Is he going to come up and be younger?
Everything you want, Mr. Kennedy? Yes, thanks, Peters.
Oh, interesting.
No wonder civilians are grumbling about the army. Ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
It's an aria, sir. You know, Mignon. We had a phonograph and broke every record but that one. We know it by heart.
And she wrote to her sister over here, who gave the letter to my niece to give to me, to give to you.
Who do I give it to?
Nobody. It's for you, and there it is.
I love all the underlining. Ooh, a splendid fellow.
They hate us in Germany. They're spreading propaganda all over Europe that we're killing women and children in South Africa.
Well, about that. Yeah, we know that's true. Because we have the hindsight of history. So it wasn't propaganda, it was just facts. You know, this is actually an era of history that's not talked about very often. I haven't studied it extensively. However, it was brutal. My family used to live in South Africa. So I have a little bit more of a close connection to it than I'd say the average Californian. They were actually concentration camps. The reason I actually haven't studied it a lot is because it was just so depressing to read about. It was absolutely awful. On a positive side, the South African connection is also the reason why rooibos is my favorite tea. To bring it back to happier notes.
Conan Doyle, you must have seen his name.
Never heard of him, but I've read every Sherlock Holmes story since they started in July '91.
Are you reading The Hound of the Baskervilles, sir?
Am I
Oh,
not? What did you think of the
yes.
end of the last installment?
Bit of a facer for poor old Watson, sir.
Good rule to keep out of the newspapers. Still, the Times, a bit different.
Yes, the Times.
Who says he saw with his own eyes British soldiers kill 250 women and children at Jordan siding in order to save feeding them.
That wouldn't be... I think something like 20,000 civilians were, well,
This author chap.
Author chap, sir?
Yes, this
Conan
fellow that
Doyle.
wrote Hound of the Baskervilles.
Conan Doyle.
Yes. You didn't happen to ask him by any chance what happens in the next installment?
Just
Oh.
Did you?
No, sir, the baronet's safe.
Good. Good, I'm glad.
One for January.
Yeah, we can just sit down and read Sherlock Holmes stories now. Can you imagine getting them in piecemeal and having to wait? The suspense.
Say I've gone on some secret mission. Make me out the most mysterious romantic figure. Girl's pretty, mother's a gorgon.
Are you going on a secret mission?
Yes, to Berlin.
Did he send you?
No, it's a secret from him, too.
Yeah, I figured he'd go anyway. Ah, here she is. Love the muff. I used to have one, but it wasn't cold enough here. I could never use it.
Go back.
To England?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Cheer up. England isn't as bad as all that, you know.
That is what we both want to prove, isn't it, Mr. Candy? They are associations of students professing political principles. They assert them by drinking beer and fighting duels.
Dueling is very popular here, I believe.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's awfully nice of you. I should obviously be absolutely lost without you.
Then, Mr. Candy, you are Livingston, I presume.
Oh dear. Loving the jackets. Ooh, that is a lot of tears. The snacks are good anyway. I wish more restaurants did tiered foodstuffs these days. You have to go to specifically tea houses now.
He nearly had a fit when he knew why I'd come. Babyface, I mean. He lugged me in to see the second secretary, and he nearly had a fit, too. The possible scandal.
I feel like he's going to interfere anyway.
On the contrary, they will welcome me with open arms.
I don't blame them, either.
Oh, she doesn't want to go
Mr.
home.
Candy, you see, my family were opposed to my coming to Berlin.
What do you mean, why?
How do you know what is the best place for a young girl?
Oh, I like
Are you a
her.
girl?
She has spirit.
I say,
Have you
really,
any
listen.
daughters?
I say...
You see, while you men have been fighting, we women have been thinking. Think for
Oh.
yourself, Mr. Candy. What careers are there open to a woman? When with a little common sense and bad manners, there would have been no war at all.
I love her. Speaking some truths out here.
Garnetts was a prisoner in our blockhouse for 7 weeks. This was the only record we had in our phonograph. I want to see if he remembers it.
Aha.
Touched him on the raw, all right.
Beer. Beer für das Orchester.
It's a bribe the orchestra beer off. Nice. Maybe get them something nicer than beer. Oh
Get back to
my.
your table.
Oh. They have made it a very exciting night. Oh, they said earlier dueling was popular.
Then the Altdeutsche Verband ought to be ashamed of itself.
He's doing it deliberately. Does he have a plan other than dueling? I'm glad we got to meet his embassy friend. I thought they would just talk about him.
You're probably in love with her or something of the sort.
I say so, but I'm not.
My dear Mr. Candy, you've caused enough trouble
Really?
already.
Because that
Do what
smile
I
kind of
ask.
shows that you are...
May I make a note of that?
With the greatest of pleasure.
His card.
Thank you.
Have you, gentlemen, any suggestions regarding choice of leader for the duel?
I love the servant just in the back lighting the lamps while this overly polite shenanigan is taking place. I do enjoy everyone's poise in this film. It reminds me a little bit of the importance of being earnest, the very careful, good manners going on with the undercurrent of extreme hostility.
Sugar? Thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
It just has a similar vibe to it. I don't know why I find whatever this genre is so amusing, but I do.
7 o'clock.
It would be advisable to meet half an hour earlier.
At 6:30 a.m. in the gymnasium of the barracks of the 2nd New Lawns.
A lot of the time, they seem to have duels early in the morning, and I feel like that's unfairly favorable to morning people.
I shall say no.
Teal and black is a good combo. Well, they know how to make an entrance.
How are you with the saber?
Oh, I don't know. I know which end to hold.
We drew lots
Oh
of them.
dear.
You better rub your feet in the rosin.
Good idea, especially with those shoes. We used to use that before going on stage in ballet. You put it on the end of your point shoes.
It is forbidden to seize the weapon of the opponent with a bare hand.
You know, they haven't said you couldn't use martial arts here, though. You can't grab their blade, but you could do things like shove their arm aside. All right, they're feeling each other out. No, we want to see it. The choreography probably would have been too extensive. They had to cut it out.
And if anything does happen to him, I'll blow up your embassy.
I say.
Oh.
Are you a suffragette, Miss?
Never mind, but if anything does happen to Mr.
I think
Candy,
she
I'll...
is.
Shuggy, I was talking about the German fella. Nothing could possibly ever happen to Shuggy. He won the fencing shield at school 2 years running.
He did? Okay, so he does have training. Thank goodness. Can I just say I love the fact she's wearing her hat at the correct angle? Modern films get this wrong every time.
The duel was generally supposed to be about you. What would people say if you left him now? Wounded and alone in a nursing home.
Well, how is she going to pay her rent, though?
And don't bother about the bills. They have orders to send those to the embassy.
Okay,
Good
good.
afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've got me into a mess, too. What shall I tell her, the truth? Excellent. Hunting accident.
I think he wants us to go first, sir.
Can't do that, can we? You
Oops.
and I, you know.
Together.
Oi!
More muffs. Oh, well, this is interesting.
Let's have a drink, shall we? Sherry?
I would love a glass of sherry.
Would you like sherry?
No, it depends on the sherry. Some is good, some is...
How's your own packing going?
Not fast.
Well, you'd better hurry up then.
You all right?
Oh, she doesn't want to leave him.
What the blazes is up with everybody today?
and I, friends, yes or no?
Oh,
Well, of
yes.
course we're friends.
I love Miss Hunter.
Oh.
I came to Berlin to find a rat, and I found two of the grandest people I've ever met.
Oh.
My English is not very much, but my friendship for you is very much.
You make the Foreign Office very cross. Yes, very cross. What do you get for it?
I like Athena's outfit. This must be Aphrodite. She has a seashell. Ah, Ares.
Shuggy!
Home is hungering still.
Shuggy!
Oh, father, in thy youth,
Poseidon's like,
didst feel at least for mortal women.
I believe he met her sister in Berlin.
her sister.
It was very romantic and sudden. They met here in this very theater.
I know.
Oh, because of him.
I seem to be a born matchmaker.
Why not? A very suitable match. He has money and she has land, and neither of them has any brains.
The aunt.
You've always got a home here. And whatever you shoot, there's always room for them here too.
Glad it's not my house. He needs a new hobby. Oh, now we're in the Great War. Oh my.
Where'd you get them?
Off Jerry's, 11 of them, brought in an hour ago. Lord knows where they stole them. They were using them for camouflage against aircraft.
Oh, I think his friend's going to be here.
Nobody starts to fight foul till he sees he can't win any other way. Do any of you know Oberst Kretschmer-Schulhoff? Don't play deaf. He was an Oberst in your regiment the last time I heard of him. Make your report to brigade.
I was hoping his friend would be here. That would have been an interesting scene.
I'm not a simple English gentleman, and I can assure you that I have means to get what I want.
30 seconds to reply.
In this war, I've seen ammunition dumps without ammunition, field kitchens with no cooks, motor cars with no petrol to run them on. So I suppose I shouldn't be surprised to find a railway transport officer without trains. Tell you this, young man, that in the Boer War or in Somaliland, this sort of inefficiency wouldn't have been tolerated for a second. Not for a second.
Pub, sir? I don't get you.
Oh, dash it, we don't speak the same language. A cafe.
No, sir, it's a convent. It's on the way to Ami-le-Bon.
Oh, a convent.
I think I hear Armstrong coming with a bathtub now.
He means a sidecar, right?
Boer War and the Somme something. I never heard of them.
Those weren't wars. Those were just summer maneuvers.
Ooh. I didn't quite realize how long the film was when I jumped into it, and I didn't want to cut out half the film. So I'm going to go ahead and split this into 2 parts. And yes, I'll release both parts today, don't worry.